Hello from East Lansing, Michigan. It's Todd Milewski from the State Journal with the Badgers wrap-up for November 20th, 2021 after a 5-2 Michigan State victory over Wisconsin here at Mount Ice Arena. It's a 5-game losing streak now for the Badgers, and it's a second straight sweep on the road. The Badgers are now 1-7 on the road, have been outscored 30-11, I think I had as a number. There's a lot of things that have been going wrong for the Badgers, and we saw a few of them come through tonight. The penalty kill chief among them. Spartans scored twice, including the go-ahead goal early in the third period after the Badgers had rallied from a 2-0 deficit with 2 goals in the second period by Tarek Baker and Sam Stang to tie the game in the second period. The Spartans take over in the third, and the Badgers didn't have a response to that, and that's how it ends up in a 5-2 Michigan State victory. There is as you would imagine, that level of frustration just keeps going up and up and up for the Badgers. They are, and we saw it in the third period. Roman Shawn got tossed for a cross check when he was battling with Griffin Lochran behind the play along the boards. He threw a hit. Lochran took him down as they were locked up, and then Shawn gave him a two-hander, it looked like, and after review, that was enough to send him out for the night. Game misconduct, 5-minute major, and that's including with the game misconduct that Shawn got in the exhibition game, which counts towards the game misconduct number. That's his second of the season, and one more is an automatic one-game suspension under NCAA rules. And Tony Granato was fairly critical of his senior alternate captain, Shawn, after the game. Said that was just not a smart play. Can't be doing those kind of things. I should go and read this. I think I'll have this in a story that'll be on the web Sunday morning, but Roman's penalty there at the end, that's not playing smart. That shows some of our frustration. This is Granato talking. He's a leader on our team, and that shouldn't happen. He's a targeted guy by the refs. That's the way it is. The other kid, whether he was diving all night or whatever, he got the best of us tonight. So it's a little bit of what Tony Granato had to say after this one. There is it's the mistakes. We've talked about these on these post-game chats of ours. Before. The mistakes mean more than everything else out there. Badgers played well in the first period, but for the couple of mistakes. They outshot Michigan State 22-8. They were getting a few chances, not too many great ones, but enough pressure on the net to think there's something coming here, and there was something coming in the second period. They scored twice in the second period, like I mentioned. The power play got going, got another goal. But when you're taking penalties that don't need to be taken, when you're making poor passes, when you're not being aware of situations and players cutting to the net untouched, those are the things that, well, frankly, that make you 4-10, like the Badgers are. I don't know that there's a whole lot more that I can say than that. They can do some good things, like they have the Badgers talking about here, but it all gets wiped out by those preventable mistakes. And we've heard for weeks now players, owning up to those mistakes, but they keep happening. And sometimes it's different players, sometimes it's the same players. So there's talk, but there's not a lot of backing it up right now from what I can see anyway. Others may disagree. Not much backing it up in terms of changing the way things go, and then it gets into, are they talented enough to make those kind of changes and root out things from the game that can't be there if they're going to be successful. I think there is some talent there. I think they can be a better team than 4-10, but not the way that they're playing right now. You can't have their power play sitting. Is it under 60% now? It's around 60%. It's one of the worst in the country by number. Those are the kind of things that will not allow them back in games, and I think we're seeing that come through here, and it's getting to be, it's not even Thanksgiving yet, and it's getting to be a little bit too late to change their stripes. So we've seen what they are here, and we've seen the Badgers talk about changing things, but it has not happened. And you start wondering then, will it happen? Will it change? Or is this season just going down as one of the truly forgettable 5 months of hockey in Badger hockey history? I would think that there are a lot of prideful people in that locker room who would try to do what they can to not let that happen, but wow, there's a lot that needs to be done here. And I will try to get into more of those things as we go along here. It's not something that we can wrap up in a couple of minutes here and before I get back to work on another story, but I'm reading here a comment from Brent who says, perspective, the season was predicted to be a dumpster fire, but I don't see a fire, just a dumpster. Does that make sense? Well, I don't know if that season was necessarily predicted to be a dumpster fire. You got to remember, the Badgers were picked for 3rd in the Big Ten. Now you can say that that's because of where they were last year, and no one really looked too critically at what had been lost, the big pieces that were lost from last season. So I don't know if I completely buy that end of the statement. So there's a lot wrong with this Badgers team, and I think that's a fair way of saying it. And now there are questions over whether they're going to be fixed. They say they can be fixed. The players say they can be fixed. They tell me, these are all things that are fixable. But when they happen, I just said this, when they happen over and over again, you start to wonder. So I think that's pretty much all I have here from East Lansing. I'm going to wrap it up. The Badgers are back in action next Friday and Saturday at the Kohl Center against Clarkson in a non-conference series. I will be interested to see how many people come out for that. We saw, at least I saw on TV today, the crowds at the football game at Camp Randall being pretty small, and with deer hunting season going on, these 2 weekends, we'll see what the crowd looks like next Friday and Saturday. But I will be there to bring you some coverage, and I will be there after here on Facebook to give this wrap up. So I hope you join me then. Thanks for joining me now, and thanks for reading on madison.com and in the State Journal. Make sure you check out tonight's story, and be on the lookout for one on Sunday to about a little bit more of the follow-up from tonight's game. So thanks again for joining me. Once again, the Badgers lose to Michigan State 5-2, and the Spartans completed a 2-game sweep and send the Badgers to a 5-game losing streak. From East Lansing, I'm Todd Milewski. Thanks for joining me. Have a good night.